Boom shakalaka. Here we go. What's good? 3, 2, 1. And we back. What's good, world? How's everybody been? Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Hope everybody was safe. Holla. Hope everybody ate a bunch of food. I know I ate way too much. It's kind of gross when I think about it, back on it. Having the multiple family situation visit, where you're going to the girlfriend's family and my family, plus a Friendsgiving, all of that in like a week's time. I think I totaled up, I had like 6 full Thanksgiving type meals between leftovers and all those actual meals. So it was unreal the amount of food I ate last week. I put on weight while running like 84 miles last week. Put on a few pounds. So excuse me. So we back and larger than ever, hopefully. Let's see, a couple of quick things to highlight. Yesterday was hold on. Excuse me. Sorry. Shout out to store brand sparkling water. Lost my train of thought. Oh, yesterday was International Giving Tuesday. I guess after all of the shopping and stuff that everybody does with Black Friday and Cyber Monday and Small Business Saturday and everything, I guess everybody felt guilty into starting this. I don't know what started it. I'm just throwing it out there, but I feel like people were like, oh, maybe we should probably give to something instead of ourselves. So several years ago, International Giving Tuesday was started, and it encourages everybody to give to foundations or causes that are near and dear to them. Obviously, the Vasculitis Foundation is near and dear to my heart. And we had 2 donors anonymous donors that were matching donations yesterday. Up to $10,000. The Vasculitis Foundation raised a record I can't read my own handwriting, $33,000 yesterday alone. So we're obviously very excited about that. I think, if memory serves, we made about $25,000 last year. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a really big deal for us. We're not a huge organization, not a huge charity, so that will go a long way. And I guess it's probably a good time for me to cover what the annual appeal is for everybody. And if for some reason you missed it, I'll toss a link up to the Vasculitis Foundation. You can there's donate buttons all over the website, and I'll make sure that they're in the description afterwards or whatever, so you can find them. If you somehow missed all the blasting that everybody was doing yesterday, I will say I was like slightly worried because when we started doing this with the foundation a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I think was the first time I was involved with it. Yeah, 2015. the day wasn't as big. And there wasn't as many foundations that had caught on kind of to the idea of it yet. And I felt like it was easier for us to get it out there, get the information out there. But yesterday, I was kind of like inundated all day with all of these different organizations and stuff that were, of course, asking for support. Whether it be other organizations I've been involved with over time, like NORD, which is the National Organization of Rare Diseases, to stuff for the victims of the fire and out in the fires out in California and stuff, to some high school cross country teams that needed some help. So, to also some of the professional running groups that are not technically they are nonprofit organizations. So I was all of a sudden like, man, everybody's kind of catching on to this now. So I was a bit worried that we might struggle to hit our mark, but we did. So I'm super, super grateful for that, because the annual appeal, which I think is actually going to be the Vasculitis Foundation's appeal for the next 2 years, is all about what they're calling the journey to diagnosis. And we've got to get that time down. I know for myself, a lot of patients, before they figure out what's wrong with you, you're going to be sick for at least 6 or 8 months. I think I was 6 or 7 months before they figured it out. And I've heard patients that have gone 5, 6 years without hearing or understanding what was wrong with them, or learning a diagnosis. And part of that is through the foundation. They are working in coordination with doctors and to bring more doctors up to speed on what these diseases are, how they affect people. A lot of doctors kind of see these things like once in med school, maybe, depending on where they go to school at. If they went to med school where there's a vasculitis center, or somewhere like UPenn, Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, if they're involved UNC and these universities where there's a big vasculitis center, a lot of times they're more aware of it, but a lot of times they're not. And you, especially if you live in a rural area, or you have health insurance that won't allow you to see, will only allow you to see certain doctors, and it's sometimes difficult to find somebody that knows really what is going on with these diseases. I mean, I know for myself at the time when I got diagnosed in 2008, technically, and I had been struggling with problems since late 2007. I had to drive 3 hours to go see my doctor because it was the person that was the closest that had seen the most cases of it. So, anyways, we're trying to cut that time down because there's a lot of patients, especially with the even more rare forms of vasculitis than I have. That time and journey to diagnosis can often be years, and during that time, patients are suffering a lot, and we want them to have a better chance to have a better outcome. And the longer, research has certainly shown that patients tend to do better the earlier they are diagnosed. So, their bodies basically don't get as destroyed, and they're not suffering for as long and not going through as much pain, and, possibly losing their jobs or having to quit work, or, depending on the severity of the disease, or how sick they get before somebody finally puts the puzzle pieces together. It can be a long time, and can, it's already difficult enough getting this diagnosis, but it can, the longer you go, the more it can kind of destroy or deteriorate your life. So the Vasculitis Foundation is really working over the next 2 years to push that forward and try to get more material in the hands of doctors, especially in rural areas, so that they can understand more and learn and help their patients. Because I hear all the time from patients that don't have access to the level of doctors that really know what's going on, or they might have a once a year appointment with a doctor at something like the Mayo Clinic or the Cleveland Clinic, and it's hard for them to communicate with their own doctors what's going on. And sometimes the local doctors, who are really, for some reason, incredibly stubborn, don't listen to the advice of the experts, and the patient suffers. So the more, and I hear that a lot, and it terrifies me, and it makes, lets me know just how fortunate I am to have had the doctors that I've had, even though at times I've often been incredibly frustrated with them. I've been in the hands of some really good doctors, but all of that money that was raised yesterday will go directly to that cause. And the vasculitis, and I've said it a bunch before, but the Vasculitis Foundation has drastically and dramatically increased the quality of my life, and has put me in touch with many of you. And if it weren't for these relationships that I've started with other patients around the world, then I probably wouldn't be as happy as I am right now. I might not look happy right now. Look a little tired in this camera, but yeah. So thank you all. Art was a big, actually big shout out to Art for pushing and helping out on Giving Tuesday, and helping raise some funds. And if I'm not mistaken, and actually he said it there, it is his daughter's Isabella's birthday today. Big 8, 8 probably going on 20, and then going on 30. So big shout out to her. 8's big age. Next thing you know, Art should be 30, and out of the house, and you'll be hoping you did a good job raising her, which I'm sure you will be, or you will. But yeah, they grow up quick, Art. So I hope you can maintain a good health, so you can be involved in your kids' lives and watch them grow up, and spend as much time as you can with them without being sick. So, because those are the things that suck, and those are the things that affect patients when they're sick and they have things going on in their life that they want to participate in and want to be there for, but the disease can rob you of that, and that can be very, very hard for people emotionally. And it's one of the reasons why this disease is, or set of diseases, is so difficult to handle, because it can rip you away from the things that you love. So, but yeah, I can't say thank you enough to everybody that donated, or anybody that shared the post and stuff. That certainly helps a lot, and will go a very long ways. Also, if you haven't, I guess we'll take a quick detour real quick, but if you haven't seen my post or seen the things I shared, I was talking recently about that a couple weeks ago now, about that CBD oil that I was taking. I've actually picked up a sponsorship with them, believe it or not. So they've given me a code, actually, that will allow anybody to get 10% off if you want to try CBD oils or whatever. They've got some new products out, but if you enter the code BHUDGE10, it'll give you 10% off. I'm tossing this off online. If you're interested in it, like I said, they are helping me out a little bit as far as a sponsorship would go. But I tried the product long before that was something that was on the table, and it's something that I wholeheartedly believe in. I've been using CBD oils on and off for really the last 6 months to a year, or no, I guess it's longer than 6 months. Yeah, it's probably like 8 or 10 months through immunotherapy treatments, and through being an athlete, like I deal with a lot of inflammation and restless legs, or headaches from my disease, or problems with uh, how my body feels after I have an immunotherapy treatment. And uh, it's helped me immensely. So it's helped my mom. It's one of those things that just I can't sing the praises of it enough. I mean, I think especially from I've become very wary over the years about taking medications that I try to take as little medication as I possibly need. Now, I do that because over the last between being an athlete and, when you're growing up and you like your IT band hurts or your knee hurts, the trainers or doctors are like, "Oh, just take 4 ibuprofen with breakfast, lunch, and dinner." So, you're taking loads of medicine like that at times when you're hurt. So you're just nuking your stomach to all the antibiotics that I've had over the years, because either A, I've been sick, or B, because of them putting me on antibiotics to prevent me from getting sick, because they've nuked my immune system and just absolutely destroyed it. So since they've destroyed it, then they got to give you antibiotics to make sure that you are, going to be you're not going to be susceptible to getting any like bacteria infections. So I've had a lot of drugs, and they've done a lot of damage to my innards, and I'm trying to be a better steward of my body when I can. Now, obviously, when it's coming to the point of whether you're going to get sick, or whether or possibly have a potential relapse or something, or take the medication, you obviously always take the medication because it's in the best interest of your overall health. But when I don't have to take medication, like if I have a headache, I don't try to take Tylenol or ibuprofen, the NSAIDs or whatever they call, which are the non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs. I think I nailed that. I think I somehow worked that else out. But your ibuprofen, your Tylenol, and those stuff can be pretty harmful on your stomach or your liver. And we as a country, or as a society, or as a lot of people have been using loads of them without really always understanding how they're affecting our overall health. And, we've often heard too in our society that pain is a bad thing. Pain should be your guide for a lot of stuff. If something's hurt, like your knee's hurting, instead of taking ibuprofen, maybe try to fix the problem. Or if your head's hurt, like sometimes you can't avoid it. Sometimes you need to take it. Like sometimes I have to take it to reduce my fever because, as a patient and as somebody that doesn't have much of an immune system, we need my immune system to not go haywire. So we have to make sure that we keep our fevers down. Like that's something smart and that's the time when I do take it and I don't make any qualms about it. But, I can't just be taking it every time something's stiff or sore. So, I guess to bring this whole thing full circle, CBD oil was, something that I had heard about for a while, and something that I'd heard other people talking about and other athletes using it. So, I started trying some different products, and, obviously as an athlete, you have to be worried because we do get drug tested. So you can't take risk with products that might potentially be contaminated with other things. And as somebody that's also severely health conscious, I don't, I like trying to take the best quality products that I can get or afford. So I really became a big fan of it, and it's drastically, I've said drastically way too many times now. It's improved my quality of sleep. On nights, because sometimes I train so hard that my legs get sore and my legs are restless at night, and it's hard for me to get comfortable or get still. And the thing about like stuff like CBD oil or other ways of reducing inflammation when you're hurt or something's going on, like the sauna, or like they're not going to blunt or even ibuprofen and stuff like that, and Tylenol. Like if you take that like right after a workout or right before a workout and you got a lot of that in your system, taking that stuff can actually blunt the improvements and the gains that you get. Because like, yes, we've looked at, and we talk about it a lot, even on here, but like inflammation as being a bad thing, and it's come up a lot in society. Everything from like food inflaming your gut and inflaming your body to all the different things that can potentially cause inflammation in your life, and it's looked at as something that's bad. But inflammation in some regards is good, because that's how your body it's how your body fixes itself, right? It's your immune response. So it's responding to something. Now, sometimes, like maybe it's responding to the entire large pepperoni pizza that you ate, and that not being good and healthy for you. But sometimes it might be responding to a session at the gym, and that inflammation is not bad. That inflammation is good. And if you're taking something like a Tylenol or ibuprofen right after it, you can actually blunt the gains that you could get. So because you're shutting off your body's actual response to repair itself, and the repair is where you get stronger and get better. So if you don't let some natural inflammation occur from workouts and stuff, with those non-steroidal drugs, they can blunt those. So stuff like CBD oil doesn't affect those same receptors and stuff, from what I understand. So it doesn't have any of the like potentially negative consequences. It's something you can't even like you can't OD on it. Like you get a 1 ounce bottle of it or whatever, and even if you drink the whole bottle, you're just gonna maybe feel a little bit tired. Whereas like if you take too much ibuprofen or something, it's your liver's going to shut down, your body's going to hate you. And people that die from overdosing on ibuprofen or Tylenol all the time. So it's something that's just, as people that are trying to be better stewards of their body, and we're always learning in science, and it's something that everything that we know now, we didn't always know, but you have to learn. And I talk about that at the end of the podcast every week. You got to learn. And I used to not see the harmful side effects of some of the things that I did in the past, but now I do. So now we all try to learn and grow. And that was a plunge I was happy to take, an experiment and try for all of you people. All of yous, I was happy to take that plunge. So if you got any questions about it, I'm happy to steer you either to the research that I've actually read and looked up, and taken time to try to become informed about it. So just taking stuff like that can help a lot with whether you're having aches and pains, or whether you're having problems sleeping. Those are two places that it's drastically, improved my quality of life. So that sounds like a ridiculously paid ad. It's not a paid ad. It's nothing like that. It's just something that I believe in. I don't care what oil it is. But go give that a try. But back to what I really, really wanted to talk about this week, which was, I was thinking about this a lot when I was on the road a lot last week and traveling for Thanksgiving. And the other holidays here are coming up, and we're all going to be busy. You're all bouncing all over the place. You're trying to see people. You're trying to see friends. You're trying to see family. You got long drives. You got long flights potentially. And this thing that a lot of us have been doing, or wishing we were doing more of, which is like exercising or training for something specific. It's easy during those times to kind of lose sight of all that stuff and focus. And next thing you know, you've looked up and all of a sudden there's no time for training, or you ate too much food or whatever. So it's hard to really stay kind of regimented during those times. And I figured some of y'all would probably like to hear some of the tips that I have used over the years to get me through those periods of time, um, like without losing lots of training, without losing a lot of the time that you know, a lot of the gains that, you have because as an athlete or somebody that's training for something, you've put in a lot of work and, you can take steps backwards by not following the plan that you're on, not following what the coaches have asked you to do if you're on a sports team. Um, or if you're just somebody that works out regularly and you haven't, and you all of a sudden look up and you missed over half or more of your gym sessions, and you look up at the end of December or the new year rolls around all of a sudden and you're like, oh, I put on 10 pounds since Thanksgiving, and I guess I need to have a New Year's resolution of losing more weight. So I'm going to try to set you up here so that you don't lose those things, and don't lose I mean, obviously routines are huge, but and you as much as you can try to stick to a routine when you're traveling and everything, something that's similar to how it is when you're at home, it's just not possible sometimes. And I get it. So the number one thing that I will say is something is always better, almost all, not always, but in this case, something is better than nothing. Doing something is better than doing nothing. So even if you have 15 minutes and your normal workout's an hour, going 15 minutes or 20 minutes is way better than zero. Does that make sense? Am I getting that through your brains? Something is better than nothing. So if you run out of time, you don't have time to get in something this is long, still get in there and do something. Whether it's push-ups and sit-ups in the floor before you go to bed, do something. It's because something is better than nothing. And the easiest thing to do is get up early. I know it sucks. I hate it. I hate getting up early myself. I'm not a morning person. Heck, I'm slowly becoming like not even an evening person anymore. I used to be a night owl, but the thing is, sometimes you just got to get up early and knock it out. And if everybody else, I've kind of beat the people in my family into submission about whether or not, like, I beat them into submission knowing that I'm going to have to run oftentimes twice a day, and it's going to take up a lot of time. So they've just learned to accept it. But I understand that not everybody's as crazy and as a giant asshole like I am at times, and you can't really explain what you do to other people that well, or explain the importance of continuing to exercise when everybody else is stuffing their face. Or wanting to go to the mall, or wanting to go shopping, or wanting to go see the Christmas tree lights, or whatever the million things that happen over the holidays. Going to see family, going to family reunions, going to get-togethers. So the easiest thing to do is just get your butt up out of bed. It sucks, but sometimes you just got to do it. Drink an extra cup of coffee, make it a reward. Get in bed earlier. I've said it on here before. If you find yourself sitting up late at night and can't, turn your phone off or whatever, or, quit watching TV or whatever, just ask yourself right now. You're like, when you say, oh, I need to go to bed, and you sit there for another 30 minutes and that's lost. Be like, is what I'm doing right now worth me getting up 30 minutes early for? Like me scrolling through Instagram. When I wake up early to look at Instagram, like, would I wake up 30 minutes before I have to normally get up so that I could look at Instagram or read Twitter? No. So why should I be laying here awake? And I know it's addicting. It's really, really addicting. And I got a new phone too. And so like, that's all I want to do is play on my phone, because it's like so easy to do. And you don't have everything set up, right? You don't have all that stuff like set up right. So you just want to be on your phone nonstop. It's really hard. It's really addicting. It's new and it feels nice and it's cool. But go to bed. turn it off. Even my phone now has like all these nice fancy settings I found on it earlier where you can like set it up to turn stuff off at certain hours of the day. So you don't even have access to it. So do that. Get your butt in bed. Get in bed and get up early. Just get up early. It's going to keep you in your routine. It's going to suck while you're doing it. But I'll say this, I've never gotten up early to get in a run. And when I finished it, been like, man, I wish I didn't do that. Like, I know that sounds silly, but like, it's so hard sometimes just to take that first step or to get out the door or wake yourself up early to get it. But when you get it done, you feel so good. You feel like you actually really accomplished something. And that probably is even a larger benefit than doing what, than sometimes the exercise itself, because it gives you some confidence. It gives you some real confidence, like, oh, I'm willing to do this because I care about this. You just got to care about it enough to get it in. And obviously sometimes there's some crazy extenuating circumstances, but you know what? I've gotten stuck in airports and gone for a run in the airport. When you get stuck, you're stuck. You just got to make the best of it. So if I can find time to, or not find time, but if I can be crazy enough and dumb enough to run through an airport because your flight gets canceled and you're not going to be able to get out till the next day, then do what you got to do, man. Do what you got to do to get it in. And you will be thankful, especially come January when you turn around and look and you hadn't put on 10 pounds, or you're showing back up to school if you're an athlete and you're in shape because you went to the gym and you took care of your body while you were over break. Those are really, really important times that can set up your whole season, regardless of, what when your season is, whether you're like a track and field athlete or whether you're, a basketball player or a baseball player that's getting ready for the spring. That stuff's important, and staying in those routines are so important. And oftentimes too, it's tearing those times out of routines that then you get back and you come back and you start trying to ramp it back up really quickly, or lose that weight. Then people often get hurt too. So it's that downtime can be so killer. So be cognizant of it and just go ahead and make time for it. Be kind of, don't be afraid to be a little pushy about it. I certainly learned that if I was pushy enough about it, then people finally just shut up and listened and dealt with it. So I guess I'm kind of encouraging you to be selfish. As crazy as that sounds, I would normally not tell you to be selfish because I've learned that that's really bad if you like having good relationships with friends and family or significant others. But in this case, sometimes you just got to be just a wee bit selfish. The other thing is watch what you put on your plate. It sucks. I know. I was literally eating my face full of brownies on Sunday afternoon after my long run. I think I undid my long run, like all the good benefits I got from running 17 miles, with the last of it pretty hard. Like I undid all of that by like going back home and eating a bunch of really unhealthy food right away. Like it's just plain and simple. Like it was terrible for me. I was continuing to stuff my face with brownies, but they were so good. And all week I've kind of been paying for it because I haven't felt great because of how I treated my body last week. When I was 19, I probably could have gotten away with it because I was kind of eating bad already anyways. And I didn't know what feeling good felt like all the time. Right. When you do treat your body nice and you treat it good, you understand what you're supposed to feel like. You understand what feeling good feels like. But if you pour junk into it all the time, then you just don't know how you're supposed to feel. So try to stay on that routine. And I know it's hard. But like, there's normally somewhere in those big holiday meals, there's some vegetables in there somewhere. Now, yeah, they might be layered up in bacon grease, but there's some vegetables in there somewhere. Don't go back for that third plate. That's just never good. Even me, I run loads of mileage, burn thousands of calories sometimes a day. The third plate is always a bad idea. And that's my third thing. So the first thing is something's better than nothing. Get up early. And the third plate is always a bad idea. Don't go for it. Put it away. Don't throw your plate away. Don't go back. It's not good for you. But that's what. With that said, when you do work out all the time and you do stay in your routine, and if you do eat healthy on a regular basis, you can splurge and can feel good about it. Like you can feel good about and feel okay with going and eating some stuff that's not as healthy for you. You know, I certainly felt that way for the first couple of days when I was doing it. I was eating guilt free. By the end, I was eating with my heart and my emotions and for some mouth pleasure. But I knew it was wrong for me and I should have been better, but learn from my examples and don't do it. So, those are really kind of the three things that I've kind of found out over the years to help me stay kind of on track and, you know, not all out of sorts when the break's over and when the holiday's over, because everybody just kind of out of the holiday season and all the traveling and everything else, everybody just kind of like collectively has to catch their breath. And I get it, man. I get it. It's absolutely nuts. So you can do just that's why I said a couple of really small things to help yourself out. And I promise your body will thank me. But unless anybody's got anything they want to add tonight, that's what I got for you. If you missed earlier, I know some of y'all weren't on here earlier. So I would like to thank again everybody that contributed to Giving Tuesday and donated money to the Vasculitis Foundation or any foundation or cause of your choice, not just my cause or our cause, but you know, you chose to reach out and support something you love. Mary for Excellence, you got has her Rituxan on Monday. Good luck. I know Art just finished up his fourth one here in as many weeks. He's on the 1 per week schedule, so I know he's going to be looking forward to some rest, and hopefully his body finally starting to turn the corner after, you know, you don't have the fifth one basically, because about the time you start to feel better again, they knock it down, just boom, with another round. So, all right, buddy, I hope your body starts perking up. Mary Frances, best of luck. You're trooper, first one since 2015. Certainly hate to hear that. That's, you know, I guess that's about 3 years. That's about how long I managed to go in between them without needing any more. So best wishes, get some sleep, let the Benadryl do its job. For those that don't know, Rituxan is one of the immunotherapy treatments that they use to treat different forms of vasculitis. Mainly, most of the time, it's used with GPA, which is the one that I guess a lot of us that have been on here have. But yeah, it's weird because they give you Benadryl and they shoot you up with a steroid at the same time, so your body's just kind of like super confused because you get a stimulant and a downer all at the same time. So your body's and then they dump the Rituxan in you, and so then your body's just like completely freaking out. It's like, yo, what is all this? I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on. But they give you the Benadryl just so your body doesn't have an allergic reaction to it. They give you a steroid to help with the absorption of the Rituxan. So it's a wild ride, and not like the fun types of wild rides. So anybody that's ever been through it understands and knows. But Mary Frances, best of luck. Hopefully we'll chat on here next Wednesday, and hopefully it's smooth. Hopefully you can get it in without any complications, because that's always the fear. You know, some people do have adverse reactions to it and they have to slow the drip down and stuff, but Hopefully you're not there for 6 or 8 hours. Hopefully it's a good, hopefully it's a 4 or 5 hour day and not a, 6 or 8 or 10, or I've heard some horror stories over the years, but best wishes on that. I know you're a trooper and you're going to handle it and continue being an awesome advocate for vasculitis patients everywhere, and being a big help to me. Mary Frances has given me a lot of advice over the years too on how to handle a lot of this. So that's why this network of these people that I've met through the foundation is so important. And if you're not plugged in, if you're a vasculitis patient and you're not on the Victory River Vasculitis page, go click and join. It's a private group. You can search it there on the internet. You are all savvy people. But you can go search for the group, find it, join it. We'll accept it, and we lift each other up and try to share some good information. So, anyways, guys, you've been awesome. I love each and every single one of yous. So, we'll leave you as I always leave you with the advice to go out into the world and learn something or read something that might just challenge you a little bit. And guys, we will be back next week again. It'll be December. Where did the world go? Where did the year go? Can't believe it. It's flying, just flying by. So that's all I got for you guys this week, unless anybody's got anything they want to add. Remember, if you didn't get a chance to donate yesterday to the foundation, I'm going to do it one more time. The Vasculitis Foundation.org. If you want to donate, we raised $33,000 yesterday, and that's just the start, because we still got a long ways to go, so that people don't have to suffer. So I love all of you. We'll be back next week. Till then, deuces.